Everybody okay in the back? Coach, whenever you're ready.
Like I say, disappointing there. Had first half was a back and forth. They were scoring, moving the ball consistently. We were scoring, moving the ball consistently. I think we were up 24-20 at half. Had one stop we'd had, and that was we had a big gain and got a penalty, got behind the chains, and we had a third down we could almost hit. But our guys were really moving the ball. They were getting the run game going, had good balance. They got us in some single high stuff and put some pressure on the ends, and the safeties pulling on the quarterback, and they did a good job of getting him out. And he got some nice runs in the game. We were able to keep good balance in the first half. Thought our play action game, speedy. We were having efficient plays, no negative plays, not getting behind the sticks. Did a good job. Thought Haynes managed the game really well. Made good throws, made good decisions. Hit a third down touchdown down there, and moved the ball extremely well. Big drive before the half. Being able to come back in 2 minutes and go down and get points before the half was excellent. And played really well in that situation. Coming out second half, disappointing. We had a boot play that they covered and doubled and got the guy booted, and we maybe could have scrambled for a couple yards. And then we got a negative run in a 3rd and 9. They got some pressure. We had a chance down the middle, underthrew it just a hair. They made dove and we made a great one, but it was if we had a chance on it and just didn't execute. But then when they punted and then got a little punt return and they come down and scored, got momentum and got out of there. And then we on offense, we come back, and we had 2 runs. We were trying to keep the run in balance because we've been running it really good the first half and just didn't get it. I mean, they got control of the line of scrimmage. I said their inside guys are very big and strong. We knew that going in. We did a good job the first half of keeping them off balance with it, but then they got us in the 3rd and long there situation, and we didn't pick up a blitz on 3rd down. They brought it, and we had a guy for it. We just didn't get it picked up and caused us to get off, and then they went back down. And we got stopped, and then we had a really nice drive, hit a couple passes and got to midfield. And I thought I had a great one-on-one with one down the sideline. Thought they tugged the heck out of him, but hey, that's not for me to call. That's the same one we got called last week by Chappelle, but that's part of it. That's you don't call it, they don't call it. They come down the box, and we had him and threw a good back shoulder, and he was trying to come back and got tugged and just didn't get the call. But that's second down. We didn't get to run, couldn't get it going there on second down, and then 3rd down, we had the ball right on our fingertips. That was a big drive. I thought we could have got some points right there. That's off Max's finger. We threw it right there off his fingertips, which is a very tough catch for him. Got to execute him again, find the inches, and then they went down and took a look. We punted it, pinned them back, and they went down and got a drive. And then we come back and had a really nice drive and came back and had points right there and just got beat on the protection on the outside. I mean, just there wasn't nothing they did. We had points because that would have put it back to a 1-score game if we had a field goal. We had a nice drive, moved it back, had tempo of the game, got some things going again, got back in the rhythm, and then they took it and drove and ate the clock up, missed a field goal. Then we drove there for a while and had a thing, just couldn't get it going. Couldn't get the running game going enough, and then got in the drop back game, which is tough. And they were able to run the football. That was the other thing. They were able to continue to run the football and move the clock. And it's a shame we had a chance to be right there and just didn't get it done. So, questions?
Front left, Zach.
Coach Devon had such a big first half with over 100 yards carrying, and then that third quarter only had the ball, I believe, 3 times on the carries. So what was Florida showing you that caused you guys
We just couldn't
to
get it. They weren't showing it, and they just got the blocks. They stymied us 2 or 3 times. We had even one of the RPOs that we threw, they put the extra guy in the box, and we just didn't get them blocked. I mean, it was early. We had a 1-yard gain. I think the first 3 carries are a 1, a 2, and a 1. And we're getting behind the chains on 3rd down and drives, and they were scoring. They were scoring and got the momentum. And we tried to keep driving it, and we had RPOs to keep giving it to them. And we just couldn't get them moved in what we were trying to do. And inside, they were winning some battles.
Front right, Travis.
Was A-Chain at 100% today?
No, he had some, didn't feel as good during the week. Had some things go with him, but he's going to go play and play his tail off.
And were you? Was there ever any consideration of calling a timeout there after the turnover on downs when they had the ball deep?
There was, but we said we had to come back twice when to see it, and they got down there the first time, and we could have, but we just didn't. We didn't right there. Could have done it.
Second row on the left, Cedric, and then Olin right next to him.
Hey, Jimbo, how do you guys stop the bleeding? Because there's so much football left to play.
There is.
It's tough.
And they are. And our kids see it. I mean, we'll play hard. We'll practice hard. We've been doing that. And like I say, play these last 3 games. Got to get on the road against a very good Auburn. A tough Auburn play. Auburn's a tough place to play. Come back to UMass and LSU, get 2 home games and play for these seniors and play our tails off. And the character of these guys, they'll play. I know that. And we just got to play. We got to help them do a better job with them.
Second row on the left, Olin.
Jimbo, do y'all discourage your quarterbacks from running? Because there was a couple of opportunities. It would seem like
I'll have to look at it and
that
see.
there was?
I'll look at it and see. I can't tell from the field sometimes and what he had. And no, it's something he usually does. And, you know, we don't ever we don't want him to get big hits, but we don't discourage him from running, no.
Front right, Cole.
Jimbo, this is another game that the defense is allowed over 200 yards rushing. Do you think of just losing a guy like Mike Elko and what he was able to bring to that front seven as maybe benefit has hurt this
Well,
way?
I mean, we still got some of the same schemes there, and we got some young guys playing in situations. We got to fit some things better, like I said. And schematically, it's good stuff, and we'll look at it and see. But DJ does a good job. He knows what we're doing. We know how we're doing it, so we'll keep working on it.
And then at this point in the season, is it more so about you guys closing out on the right note for these seniors, or is it
Yes,
about
no
just
doubt.
winning? Yeah.
No doubt. You got another game to play, and you got 3 games to play, and just keep playing hard, doing your things. And like I say, you can show your character right now. Like I said, these tough times reveal character, and I think these guys will keep showing it. They got character and playing hard.
Coach, we'll go back behind the lights, Daryl. And then Brent, you're up next.
Coach, I know the last couple of ball games, it's been one play away. Today it wasn't. How much more disappointing is that?
Well, it was a couple plays away, and right there when we got the points, we got the sack, and then the other sack, we had a guy wide open in midfield on the other one. We got hit on that. But, you get back in a drop-back game, it gets to be a tough situation. We were right there in a one-play game almost all the way through the third. We know we didn't move it in the third quarter, and we didn't play bad. We were still there and then had points in that one and could have got back to 34 at least, 34-27 or 34-31 if we'd have got that 3rd and 7. Unfortunately, we got the blitz and not blitz. They just got us around the corner and caused the fumble. We're had to try to throw it away. But, it's there. It's not that far away. Again, like I said, but they're always there. You just got to keep finding ways to make them.
Third row on the right, Brent.
At what point did you know Connor and guys like Cam as well, but particularly Connor, wouldn't be able to go?
We didn't know till late. I mean, we knew they got it early in the week. I mean, we had guys. We didn't know who was going to play all the way through as far as back and forth. Some guys came back today that, and the last day or so, depending on how it came, some guys that hit harder, some guys that hit easier. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't know. And so we were just trying to piecemeal and do what we had all week.
And kind of based on that and based on Connor's performance last week, how disappointing was it that he wasn't able to be
It's very disappointing because you want to keep the momentum and you want to keep him playing. He wants to stay hot and keep things going. I mean, there's no doubt. And I don't say I loved how he played, and there was nobody more disappointed than he was. I mean, he'd say, Coach, I'm going to play, and then throw up. I mean, he had to keep him away, and it is what it is. And like I say, I thought Haynes came in, did a nice job. He's been banged up too, but I think he did a nice job in the game, made some really good plays, give us a chance in the game.
To the left, Alex, and then to the right, Justin.
Hey, Jimbo, we were trying to do the math for the game, just how many guys were out, injury, illness. Where does this kind of stack up on just the roster depletion you've had over the years?
It's a bunch. You're talking about, it's one of the worst I've had as far as that goes. I mean, like Diggs will I'd say right, Diggs will be out for the year. Diggs will be out for the year. He's had an injury, and then there's a couple other guys that just Deuce Harmon be out for the year, just had surgery. There's a couple other guys that are banged and bruised. We're trying to see them we'll have to wait and see where they're at and what they're doing. I mean, it's besides the sickness and the guys coming out, but hey, that here nor there, you got to play with the guys you got. And we have plenty of good players, and we have plenty of opportunities today to do what we need to do.
Yeah, just how difficult is it to kind of manage and piece together, units?
It can be
and
that way
whatnot?
from a communication standpoint. I mean, just because it's finally we was going to get the same line for a couple games, and and then Cam gets it, and he got it at the end of the week. I mean, it was toward the end of the week when he got it. Really started feeling bad. But Mark come in, did some really nice things, and another good chance for a young freshman to play. He's going to be a really good player too. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Right side, Justin.
Jimbo, how tough was it? Second half, you could have got the ball, could have extended the game, extended your lead. I mean, you always talk about last possession, first half, first possession, second half.
Well, we preached at halftime. Yeah. It was disappointing because we come out the second half. We got that drive the first half, went right down and got it, and we come out. We had a boot play. And they changed the coverage and doubled it and slipped and could have made it so it wasn't there. Maybe could have got a couple on scramble, but the second one, and felt good about the runs we had and come back and got a yard and then got a 3rd and 9, and they got pressure. They could rush the pass. One thing they could do is rush, and they got some pressure. We had the 3rd and longs. In the first half we kept them more in 3rd and mediums and better could get the ball out quicker and do some different things, and we missed a blitz on the second one that we didn't pick up, and it was disappointing because I felt we felt good about the adjustments, felt good what we're doing, and we still feel like the things are there. We just got to look and see why they weren't. I mean, what we didn't do wrong exactly. I mean, a couple runs, there was a kick we didn't get a down block on, a seal that we'd been running the first half really well, and just got to look and see where it was. I mean, felt really good about it. Guys were in good place. What we're doing thought we had a good plan coming back out. We got to get it executed. We got to coach it better.
Could you feel
They
the
did a good
momentum?
job.
I'm sorry. Could you feel the momentum kind of shifting their way there late in the third quarter?
Well, they did because they started getting control of the line of scrimmage a little bit. I mean, being able to run the ball on offense and us not being able to do it, and then putting your line in a tough situation because then you get in a drop back game, and I don't care who it is, and that's hard to do. And had some guys. I mean, Evan and Moose got some really nice balls. I thought 42. I mean, Max did a real nice job, caught some really nice balls, and like I say, you want to get it to a chain as much as you humanly can, but go from there.
Right side battalion.
So Moose and Evan, as you just mentioned, were the only two wide receivers to catch a pass today. Was that part of the game plan, or was that just something
No.
that kind of went down?
Just the way it happened, went down by the coverages or where it went to. No, we had balls called to other guys and could have went to other places and what we were doing. And tight end caught, I think, a bunch, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
The backs and what we did. How many completes do you have? 23, 24? Had to be more than that then. Who else caught balls then? Only 15. Max caught 5.
5, Devon 3.
Oh, okay. Got 4 guys. Devon, and use him. And we always try to use him in the pass game.
Back in.
Yeah, no, we had balls called to the other guys. We just didn't get there.
Back-
Or the Reeds took us backside. I mean, depending on how they played coverage.
Back the right side behind the lights, Ben.
Yes, sir.
Coach, I know you're probably going to have to go back and look at it to get a true sense, but how would you evaluate just your impressions of the offensive line, especially with shuffling so many people once again?
Well, I mean, I thought we did some real nice things, move the football. I mean, again, we had 400 yards. We had 300 in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, in the drives we had, and had good balance and runs. And I got some guys nicked and knacked, but, I mean, the line's getting better and better each week. When you put, you get, I don't care who you are as an offensive line, if and we got to execute on offense or whether we didn't get to run or why we did, you get in those third down situations and, quarterbacks are getting hit a lot, but that's a hard, I don't care who it is, when you're just in pure pass situations, you have to get the ball down the field, that can be very tough.
Travis, you wrap us up down front?
Is when dealing with a mobile quarterback and some of the struggles y'all have had, do you feel like it's more schematic or more just in the players not?
Well, we've tried to work at it. I have to look and see what it was this week. Last week, had a couple guys that just got out of position or got their eyes in bad places, and what we were trying to do, we'll look here and see. Some of it was on the run game, though. They had some of the run game, the quarterback run game, I believe, come out early on us in the first half. Some scrambles. One big scramble I know that we had him and we lost contain on was one I think he ran to scramble and then he flipped the ball. We had that big stop right there, and he was able to make that, and we got out of the pocket, and then the guy had to come off the guy to make the tackle, and he got the flip play. I thought was a big play in the game, a big momentum play in the game going down there. But we'll look and see, and I can't answer that right now, but we got to be disciplined in what we're doing and how we do it.
And Yule Keith and Chase Lane, are those injuries or sickness? Or?
Chase, Yule Keith's out for a while. He won't be with us for a while. He'll be unavailable. But Chase's injury, he was banged. You saw he didn't come back in the second half of that game, and I think Darius was out, LT was out.
Jordan Gilbert.
Jordan Gilbert was out.
And Yule Keith's injury?
No, Yule Keith is not injured. Okay. But the others are. The others are all injured, and hopefully we'll get them back. I mean, it was just a string of that, plus then the flu hit, and we lost some other guys. So, it doesn't matter. We still had a chance.
All right, Coach, thanks. We'll get the players in here.
Thank you.
We'll start down front on the right side to Travis.
From a player's perspective, what was this week like? How many people were in and out of practice with sickness, and how did y'all know who was going to be able to play?
This week, I felt like practice was pretty good. We had up energy. We was practicing the tempo really well, and some people we didn't find out wasn't going to play until literally the end of probably like the Thursday before Friday. So, that's how that came along. But this week was really good in practice. I felt the energy. We had very competitive days against our defense because we start going against our defense at the beginning of practice now so that we could get that fast tempo going. So I feel like that was positive for us.
We'll stay on the front row and go to Cole.
Layden, with two different style of quarterbacks in Haynes and Connor, how difficult is it for you to go through the process of knowing what they're going to be doing in the offense, especially when you don't know if one's going to be playing before the game?
We really don't, as an offensive line, you really don't pay attention to the style of quarterback you have. The thing about it is you have to block for your quarterback. That's the thing. That's your job. You have to block for the quarterback. You have to protect the quarterback so that he could get his job done.
We'll go back behind the lights on the right side. And then there.
Layden, in terms of the success y'all had as an offense in the first half versus the struggles in the second half, was it something that Florida did different defensively, or was it as simple as getting behind the sticks?
I believe both. I believe they came out the half with something different, and then we was just shooting ourselves in the foot as so-called, making MAs, making mistakes, not bumping off some stuff. In the run game, we had some plays that really could have hit for big yardage, but we just didn't execute the blocks or something happened,
We'll stay back behind the lights and go to the left side.
Layden, I think I asked you last week about the disappointment. I'm sure it just continues to build, but can you talk about just how you guys are able to keep your chins up even though things aren't going your way right now?
You keep your chins up by just the pride of yourself, as a person, of faith, of battles that you're going through, because you're going through tough times right now. You never fold during tough times because that means you're a weak-minded person. And I feel like this team is not a weak-minded team at all. That's why we keep fighting every single time we face adversity. And I feel like that's the reason why we keep our heads up. You just have to take stuff like this under the chin. Even though it's like a repetitive thing that's happening, we just have to bear down and figure out what's wrong. That's the main thing to a solution you got to find. For a problem, you got to find a solution.
We'll come back to the front row on the right side to Cole.
Layden, Devon only had 5 rushing attempts in the entire second half. Did you notice anything different that they were doing up front? Were they running different stunts? Were they utilizing more so of an interior block? What was mainly the difference of the defensive line?
I could say the stunts the second half, they came more. They started figuring out what stunts will work against us and how to get us off levels, especially on offensive line. They just brought more stunts the second half.
And then not for anything because we get a team bonding, but for the seniors that are going to go out in this year, how important is it for you guys to close out on the right note, regardless of bowl eligibility or whatnot?
Because you don't want to finish bad. You always want to finish strong no matter what spot you're in. You want to have a strong finish and hope that leads into greater things for this team and this university.
We'll stay on the front row on the right side to Travis.
Yeah, Layden, kind of piggyback off what he said. Does it surprise you that there's not more just straight-up design runs for Devon in the second half with what he was able to do in the first half?
It doesn't surprise me. We just do what our coaches say. We're not too worried about the play calls. Our job is to do what our coaches want to do and what they feel like will be basically executed against the team we're playing.
And was Devon one of those guys that was a little bit sick through the week? And how gutty of an effort was it for him to go out and do what he did?
I believe so. He was one of the guys that was sick this week. But he's a battler. He's a guy that takes on the responsibility, and he just balled. That's what he does. Is in his DNA, and he's a great asset for this team.
We'll stay on the right side and go to Justin on the fifth row.
Layden, you guys had a chance coming out of the locker room to extend your lead and kind of really put your foot on the gas, kind of like they did later in that frame. So how disappointing was it that you weren't able to do that, and then also you weren't able to kind of sting their momentum when they got going?
It's always hard stopping momentum, but you have to make sure that you do your job, not anything special. Just do your job and do your part, your individual assignment to make sure that you can stop the momentum. And coming out the halftime, that was hard because, we had a heck of a first half moving the ball, getting down the field, and just making big plays. In the second half, we just didn't execute how we executed in the first half. We would focus on having a fast start. Now we have to focus on maintaining that fast start going into the second half.
We'll go back behind the lights to Daryl on the left side.
Layden, I know you guys have dealt with a lot of injuries this year, but then this week to have the illnesses that you had, did you just kind of go, man, we cannot catch a break?
Stuff like that gets rough, because you're just facing a lot of adversity, but you have to pull through that adversity and you have to come through that adversity at the end of the day.
We'll go back to the front row on the right to Cole.
Layden, it feels like on a 5-game losing streak, it's easy just to lay down your head and call it quits, but you continue to be positive with your message and you continue to have this optimism for this team. Do you think that as a leader and someone who has been a starter for multiple years, it's your duty to make sure that you're keeping this positive momentum for the locker room?
Oh, of course, but that's everybody's duty to make sure we keep this locker room positive and keep this team positive. You know, if one's down, we have to pick that person up, and we have to let them know, hey, we just got to keep grinding, keep our foot on the pedal, and just keep going. That's the thing about this team that a lot of people probably don't see under wraps. We make sure that we go after each other every day in practice. We make sure we're making each other better. Our job is to make our teammate better, backups, all of that. Because just like today, you've seen we have to use our backups most of the time because a lot of our key players was down, but that's still no excuse at the end of the day. We have to make sure that they're ready to take on their job.
All right, it looks like that's it. Thank you, Layden.
God bless.
We have Edrin Cooper coming up to the stage next. He'll be our final player today. We'll get started on the left side front row.
Edrin, in a week when a lot of guys were forced to miss, injury, sickness, you actually got to come back. So how nice was it just for you to be back on the field this week?
Oh, it was very nice, to finally get back in the groove. Just watching from the sideline, seeing your brothers, fight for every play, and it just kills you to, knowing that you want to be out there to help them, and it just feels good to be back.
We'll go back behind the lights on the right side to Ben and then Alex.
Edrin, how much did it feel like that first quarter, kind of where they were going back and forth, maybe took a toll as the game went along, just especially once they got it going in the second half as well?
Oh, it took a big toll. We trying to get adjustments right during the game, trying to get a stop. We didn't like that situation that was going back and forth. I feel like if we'd have got a few stops or just one or two more stops, we could have had success during this game. But it's just a circumstances we had to go through, and we had to just adjust to.
We'll go second row on the left to Alex.
Edrin, the defense has been pretty young this season, just overall, and just with the number of injuries that y'all have had. What have just been some of the growing pains that y'all have had to go through, been like, and just having to replace so many guys?
I mean, it's tough, but that's what they're here for. We look at it as the next person up. Try to put that person in the best perspective they could be. Try to help them guide with us and be able to roll with us.
We'll go front row to Cole and then Travis. Sorry.
Edrin, what did you notice about Anthony Richardson, his ability to maneuver outside the pocket?
He's a great player. We try to keep him contained as much as possible. He's a very impactful player when he got out the pocket, but stuff like that just happens.
And injuries and illness aside, having a guy like Antonio Johnson miss this game, who does a great job spying quarterbacks, especially mobile quarterbacks, do you think that maybe hurt a younger player who maybe isn't used to playing that type of role?
Oh yeah, certain situations like that, having a veteran there could have certain plays where certain plays doesn't happen, but we just have to be out there, whoever we out there with, and just do our jobs.
We'll stay on the right side to Travis.
Tackling hasn't necessarily been a problem for y'all this season, but especially the last two games in this game, what changed that the tackles just weren't there and they were able to break some?
It just came down to, we try to harp on that every day, every practice. That was our main thing, was tackling, make sure we wrap up, and just certain situations like that happened today, and it just wasn't successful at it.
Any more questions? We'll go to Cole in the front row and then wrap it up with Daryl.
Edrin, just out of curiosity, back-to-back games, we've given up over 200 rushing yards. Do you feel like it's just the youthfulness of the defense not being able to make the plays, or what's been the difference between this year and last year?
Yeah, it's certain situations where the younger guys are not able to, be able to focus on what defense we're running, and just not out there used to, the game. Once you get out there, they notice how fast everything goes, and just have to make the adjustments.
We'll wrap it up with Daryl behind the lights.
Edrin, can you just talk about how disappointing and frustrating it is? I mean, I know you guys practice hard, you play hard, but you're just not getting the results. Just how that's not factoring into the scoreboard at the end of the day, which is what matters.
Yeah, we have the mentality of the team, no matter what, it hurts us bad every day, every game. We feel like we're gonna pop out that dent. End up somewhere, finally starting to get success on our side, but we just have to we have no choice but to just keep digging.
All right, thank you, Edrin.